Do you ever have a moment where one simple question flips your whole perspective? It doesn't come with fireworks or dramatic music, but inside your mind, it's like a light just switches on. For me, that question was, why do you think being different is a bad thing? I was 22, sitting alone in my room, overthinking like I always did. You know how it is when you're an introvert. Your mind is loud even when the world is quiet. I kept replaying moments where I felt out of place, too quiet, too awkward, too me. Then, like a whisper in my own head, that question showed up. Why do you think being different is a bad thing? I didn't have an answer. I'd spent so much time trying to fit in, thinking that blending in was the goal. But what if it wasn't? What if the very thing I was trying to hide was what made me powerful? Here's what no one tells you when you're the quiet one. Being different isn't a flaw. It's a feature. It's what sets you apart. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs you, your thoughts, your perspective, your quiet strength. So, if you're thinking you're too different, too quiet, too anything, let me tell you what I wish someone had told me. It's okay to be different. It's not just okay. It's your power. The truth I discovered after asking myself that question: the world is built by people who dared to be different. The artists, the thinkers, the innovators. They didn't fit in because they were meant to stand out. And that's you too. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be heard. Sometimes it's the quiet ones who carry the most profound messages. Your silence isn't emptiness. It's space where powerful thoughts grow. Your solitude isn't loneliness. It's where you meet your true self. When I embraced my differences, I stopped trying to shrink myself to fit into spaces I wasn't meant for. I started creating my own spaces where my voice mattered, even if it was soft, and my ideas thrived, even if they weren't shouted. So, if you feel like you don't belong, maybe it's because you're meant to create a place where you do. Your uniqueness isn't a burden. It's a gift to share. The question isn't why you're different. The real question is, why are you trying to be the same? You know what's funny? We spend so much of our lives trying to fit in, like blending into the crowd is some sort of achievement. But think about the people who inspire us the most. Were they ever just part of the crowd? Steve Jobs once said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the ones who see things differently." He wasn't just romanticizing being different. He was highlighting the truth. The people who change the world aren't the ones who follow the script. They're the ones who write their own. I used to think my quiet nature was a disadvantage. I'd watch people effortlessly make friends, hold conversations without overthinking every word, and I'd wonder, what's wrong with me? But here's what I realized. There was nothing wrong with me. I just didn't understand my own wiring. I was comparing my behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Introversion isn't about being shy or antisocial. It's about where you draw your energy from. Some people thrive in the noise, while others find strength in reflection. That doesn't make one better than the other. It just makes them different. And that difference, that's where the magic is. Take Albert Einstein, for example. He once said, "The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind." Imagine if he'd spent his life trying to be the loudest person in the room instead of diving deep into his thoughts. We probably wouldn't have half the scientific advancements we do today. His power wasn't in being the most socially outgoing. It was in embracing his natural curiosity and thinking differently. The problem isn't that we're different. The problem is that we've been taught to fear that difference. Society loves neat boxes, extrovert or introvert, leader or follower, normal or weird. But life doesn't fit into boxes. It's messy, layered, and beautifully complex. So instead of asking, how can I fit in? Maybe the better question is, how can I stand out by being unapologetically me? What if the things you think are flaws are actually your greatest assets? Your overthinking could mean you're incredibly detail-oriented. Your quietness could be a sign of deep thoughtfulness. Your awkwardness? Maybe it's just authenticity without the filter. The day I stopped trying to be someone else was the day I started living. Not just existing, but really living on my own terms. And that's what I want for you. Don't waste your energy shrinking to fit into spaces that were never designed for you. Build your own space. Create your own path. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being different for the sake of it. It's about being true to who you are, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. And that, my friend, is real power. Thanks for watching.